Didn't know what it was at the start, didn't know what I was actually signing up for. They say that ayahuasca is 10 years of therapy in the one weekend. Like, if someone really close to me died, I don't even know it would affect me. The police found lots of drugs, which led to a court case going on for years, thinking I was going to prison.
Hi, Brandon, and welcome on to our podcast today. And this is our first in person podcast. So I'm looking forward to this, and I can't wait for you to be sharing your story with the people at home about your journey with ayahuasca and the absolute transformation that you've been through in your life, because you've had a really interesting life, to put it mildly. But just to start off with, tell us a bit about your younger years and what led you to coming to us in the first place.
Yeah. When I was 12, my mum passed away, and that had a big impact on me further on in life. Then, completely disconnected from myself, completely disconnected from my feelings, which led to then doing stupid things throughout my childhood, falling off escalators, started drinking drugs when I was 14 years of age, started selling drugs when I was 16 years of age, got to, 17, I got my house raided. The police found lots of drugs, which led to a court case going on for years, thinking I was going to prison. Then at 18, through drinking drugs and through my own trauma coming out whilst I was on it, led to me getting stabbed 16 times. So then I knew I needed something. I knew something wasn't right with me. I was constantly going to therapists year after year, telling them I have no empathy. I feel like I can't feel anything. I feel like I don't know what love is. Like, if someone really close to me died, I don't even know it would affect me. I don't know how I'd feel it, because I just didn't feel like I had any feelings. I was just out of touch with myself altogether.
So you had for a couple of years, like you were saying, you tried the therapy, everything like this, and you had heard about ayahuasca from a friend, wasn't it,
Yeah,
before
yeah.
you decided to do it? And your first time drinking the medicine, it was with another group. So tell us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, so two friends of mine, two good pals of mine who I grew up with, they recommended it to me. They said they did it themselves. They said, I think you would really like this. I think you'd get along really well with this. Didn't know what it was at the start, didn't know what I was actually signing up for. I went down to a mountain in Ireland to do it with a man, and it was nothing like I've ever did before, nothing like I ever expected. Crazy setup, different people than what I was accustomed to. Went up, all got to know each other, sharing circles. Went in to have the ayahuasca. Never tasted anything like this before in my life. Oh, so,
Not the
what?
best.
Yeah, yeah. What am I at to sign up for here? I lie down on the bed. They start playing their songs. And songs was like something I've never heard before either. Couple of hours went by, nothing. Another couple of hours went by, nothing. So had a nada basically. Had a full night of feeling nothing. The next day I woke up. I said to him, the man, I said, mate, don't really think this is for me. I said, like, it's very, in my head I'm saying, this is full of fucking hippies, get me out of this, like, I'm not coming back here. But I said it to him in a more polite way. I said, mate, I don't think this is for me. I don't know if I'm gonna gain anything from this. It's a bit much for me, is what I was saying to him. And he said, yeah, Brandon, just give me one more night, I promise you won't regret it. So I decided to go with what he said. I had the drink then the second night. I lied down. Clear, this was like a feeling I've never felt before in my life. It was like everything I was shut off from since I was 12 years of age just opened up. I just started feeling love. I felt like I could feel my heart again. My whole chest opened up as the whole room went bright. It was teaching me ways to fall back in love with myself. And yeah, it was magical. It was something I've never ever felt before, and like I felt such gratitude during the ceremony, in a sense where, like, whoa, I've actually found this. How lucky am I to have found something like this? Because I went to therapists for years, and yeah, of course they work, but you couldn't, like, they say that ayahuasca is 10 years of therapy in the one weekend. I do extremely believe that if I talk to a therapist every day for the next 10 years, I would not have found out what I found out in them ceremonies. How deep things inside you are, and how much trauma is actually stored in you that you would never have been able to figure out yourself. It also went through, me and my dad had a rocky relationship growing up. I'm not going to get too much into that because we have a great relationship now. I love him to pieces, but he was a chronic gambler, chronic alcoholic, and I was a kid who couldn't be controlled either. So we just fought heads, like we've nearly literally killed each other on numerous occasions. And it just brought me back to a sense where I could see him as a little boy. I could see him as his younger self, and seeing how much trauma he's carrying on to, and seeing how every adult has their own shit to go through, and we don't expect that because this is our father or this is our mother, but like they've also been through their own shit, and if they don't deal with it, which they hadn't had the necessary things to do that when they were younger. So yeah, just it made me see me dad in a different light, and made me actually feel for him more and understand this was never about me either. This was about him, and he needed to work through his own stuff, which bring us like so much closer together. We went from not being able to live together to talking to each other on the phone every day, and rebonding like never before.
So beautiful, and so glad that you stayed for that second ceremony, huh? Because
Yeah.
for the people that come into the retreats, and it's hard for them to understand at first, but I would say, probably about 10% of people that come to the medicine and their first ceremony, they will have a nada, as we call it, a non-experience. So they're feeling like totally normal, they're feeling sober. And it's so frustrating and it's so disappointing, isn't it? Because it's like, why is it not working for me? Why is everybody else having all these types of experiences?
And
But
your head goes off, and your head starts thinking, this is fake medicine. These are fake people here. This is bullshit. And then you can play into that, and you're putting up more walls and more walls.
exactly, but the medicine is still in there. She's doing this deep cleansing work. It's just some people can be a lot more blocked to start with. If, for example, like we're always warning people, stop the weed at least a month before, that's a major blocker. But as well, because you went into that environment, like you say, it was run by like hippies, a lot of these types of retreats are, it's hard to feel like kind of comfortable in that type of environment that's really kind of out with your normal as well. So it can take a bit of time to warm up, so as you can kind of let go and just relinquish that control, huh?
Yeah.
So off the back of that first retreat, then you noticed a lot of big changes, huh?
Yeah, massive changes in myself, massive changes how I spoke to myself. Was still on the roads, not fully recovered, far from it, but there was a lot of stuff I dealt with, and I knew that because now I have this option to do ayahuasca, that like I felt such gratitude towards it, that like now I have something that I can go back to, and I can keep checking in with myself, and I can keep going through stuff that I haven't dealt with before.
And something that you then knew that worked, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you ended up coming to us a year then after your first retreat. That was your first time with us.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
how was that experience for you?
Amazing. It was the group itself with you, as I've never felt so safe in my life. Like the team you have is amazing. I have to give it to you. It's like there's nothing I've been through in them ceremonies where I felt like I was alone. I felt like I had to deal with it myself. It was always had someone to call, or someone was there for me every time, and I appreciate that big time. These ones were more to do with me and our child. Everything from me growing up was so serious.
Yeah.
I basically raised myself from 14 years of age, cooking my own meals, bringing myself to school. Everything was me. I hadn't got time to be a kid. I had to just grow up straight away and learn the way of life. So that's what it taught me in these ceremonies, is like, Brandon, you need to connect with your inner self. You need to have fun. You need to laugh.
You
Why
laughed.
did I laugh? I laughed that much. I think you threw me out because yeah. And then I wouldn't mind you bringing me outside the Maloka because I'm laughing, and the Maloka is like paper tin, and I'm laughing outside, and you're coming back out saying, "Man, stop laughing! Where'd you want to
Like, Brandon, laugh into yourself.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful when you get those types of ceremonies, because people are always prepared for it being really difficult and for the medicine to go back to all the traumas, and that is one of the ways that she heals, as you well know by now, because you've worked with the medicine quite a bit. But one of the things that she also does to heal us is just puts us back in touch with all the states that we've lost access to. Do you know, the love, the joy, the happiness, the fun, the peace.
Yeah. And for me, this one was like a long meditation with myself and just talking to myself and really getting to know myself on levels. Because the day-to-day basis, when do we ever ask ourselves, are we okay? We just go through life and just expect ourselves to be okay. And I'm talking to my younger self in a sense where this was the ceremony I grieved for my mum. I can remember it. I'm talking to my younger self and I can feel that he's angry. I can feel that he's angry with the world, that he's upset, and like I'm talking, I'm saying, "Wait, what's going on, buddy? What's wrong with you?" And he's saying, like, when my mum died, a couple of days before she died, like she collapsed, and for months on end, she was telling us she was okay and there was nothing to worry about. And then when she actually died, I felt abandoned. Well, my younger self felt abandoned, and he just couldn't get over why she would say one thing and then not mean it. Even though I know that she was trying to protect me, but I didn't know that back then, and that's why I completely disconnected from my feelings. Because once the person that you're closest to, when the person you're closest to your whole life, and the person that's supposed to be the most for you, says something to you and they let you down, it's like you have the anticipation you have for the world then is like, everyone's gonna let me down. Like no one means the world. And it was that day, that ceremony, I realised why I wasn't feeling empathy, why I wasn't feeling love, because that day I just shut off. I shut off to the world. When my dad told me my ma died, I didn't even cry. I just went into myself, and my dad was so worried about why I wasn't letting my emotions out. And that, I can remember, I was 23 years of age with using the ceremony. I can remember that was the day I grieved for my mum. That was the first ceremony. And then the second ceremony, my mum came to me in glimpses, not really vivid or nothing like that. It was more, I knew it was her. I could feel her, and I could feel that she was there. And she said just two slight things: is, now you know why I chose your uncle to be your guardian and not your dad. As hard as it is to say, and my dad knows I don't mean any harm by it, but the right decision at the time was me uncle to be the guardian. Now I don't regret a thing. I'm delighted I went the way I went. I'm delighted at how much I've learned from choosing my dad, and it was meant to be in my eyes, and I think that was the way it was meant to go. But I can understand my mum's decision of why she left me uncle as the guardian. And then she came to me and she said to me, like, Brandon, you need to start looking after your sister. Like, you need to start being there for your sister. Like, this is not the way I raised. This is not the way I raised you as a person. Like, you don't treat your sister like this. Because I was just so locked off from everyone. I just didn't not know love. I didn't treat my sister with respect. I didn't look after the way I should, and the way a brother should look after a sister. And I can remember she was struggling for years on end, and I never even realised it, to be honest with you. I was too caught up with my own shit. I was too caught up in my own life and my own traumas to even realise what was going on with my sister. So from that day, I made a vow to myself that I was going to try my best to mend the relationship we had together.
How beautiful. And how did your sister receive that?
She was hard to get close at the start, because I was still obviously selling drugs at the time, and my sister never respected me for that. Then my third ceremony of your retreat was how I used to always cheat on my girlfriend, and how I used to disrespect women and not see the value in love. And it really taught me a lesson of, like, how you can't treat girls like that. You can't be like, it's not in my morals, it's not my values. So why am I doing this? Why am I letting alcohol and drugs betray me as a person that I am? And then it brings me back to how my ex-girlfriend must have been feeling, and what she must have went through, what I was like, because I was a narcissist. There's no two ways about it. I constantly would cheat and deny it or turn it back on them, and it bring me to the point where I realised that I was coming into my feelings.
Put you back in touch with
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
And how beautiful, because she gives us that awareness, doesn't she? She allows us to heal from the wrongs that we've had done to us, but she also helps us to correct what we've done to other people, and often be putting ourselves in other people's shoes. And you've found out that at the extreme. Was that at your
Yeah.
next retreat?
Yeah. Everything was going great in feelings wise. I could feel like the retreats did absolutely amazing for me to reconnect with myself and to get in touch with my feelings. In a sense where maybe I was getting too soft. You know, it went from like being borderline cut off to feeling everything that was going on. But I knew something wasn't right. I knew that despite the feelings and being able to feel now, no matter how much money I had, no matter where I was, I could never feel happiness. I was always chasing for that next thing. I was always looking for that next thing, that next dopamine hit off something, and I wasn't depressed. I was just dull inside. And then I came to the next retreat with you, and I could feel something big was going to happen. I could feel. I knew there was an energy inside me. I could feel something bad was going to happen. I was in a room with two of my friends, and I wasn't even speaking to them on that retreat. I could feel something big was building up inside of me. The first two ceremonies I had a nada, but at the end of the second ceremony, he said to me, "You need to fast until the next ceremony. Something big is going to happen." And when he said that to me, I fasted for the next ceremony. It was really intense day. I knew something was coming. I went into the ceremony room and I had the drink, and an hour passed by and I felt something really intense coming in, like really intense feelings, really intense emotions, nothing I've ever felt before. She wasn't the same kind ayahuasca that I met at the start. It wasn't filling me full of love. It was, I felt she was coming at me here, and it was really, really intense. As it kept going on, it kept getting more intense and more intense to a point where I couldn't even control it. I felt like I was going crazy. I was like, if there was a cliff there, I would have ran and jumped off. It was that intense. It's like, what is going on here? I remember my mate Matt was sitting there and Luke was sitting there, and I'm rocking back and forward. I'm punching the pillow, I'm smacking my head off, thinking, what the fuck's going on here? I think I'm losing my mind. I was like, so, please. And then you was saying to me, surrender, surrender. And like, I don't know how to surrender here. Like, what is going on? And I just hear a voice then, maybe 4 hours in, saying, I'm going to make you feel what you made all them families feel that you sold heroin and crack to. I'm going to make you feel all them suicides and deaths that were caused through your actions. And it really hit me, and at the time I didn't know what to do, because as greedy as it sounds, I was making a lot of money. I was making a lot of money from it, and she said to me, "You either choose greed and money, or you choose happiness." And I know the obvious decision there is to choose happiness, but it was just a battle back and forward I had with my ego, and I said, you know what, I don't care anymore. It says, like, I don't care about the money, I don't care about the thing, I just want it gone. I just want it gone. I agree, I'll never ever sell heroin and crack again. As soon as I said that, it was, this is how you know this is all real. As soon as I said that, all the bad feelings left my body. The room went from pitch black to lighting up with all colours, and it was like I got sick straight away. It was like something dark and evil just left my body. Yeah, and then to make it even more crazy, after the ceremony ended, I woke up the next morning and I rang the two workers I had. These workers have been working with me for years. I rang one of them and I said, "Mate, I'm done." I says, "I don't want anything to do with this ever again, and I don't want anyone else to have anything to do with this ever again. I want you to throw the phone away and we call it quits." And he said, "You know what, it's crazy you said that to me, because I'm in hospital the last couple of days with heart problems due to stress from this work." Says, so obviously that was a coincidence. Then I rang the other worker and I said, "Mate, the exact same thing, don't want to have anything to do with this, blah blah blah." He says, "Mate, I'm up the last 3-4 nights having nightmares to do with this." I said, "That's crazy you rang me and said that to me now." He said, "I was thinking about giving it up myself."
not even coming in there just doing your healing. It's the energy of everybody else in your space in it, your nearest and dearest, your loved ones. I've seen some phenomenal things and ceremonies happen off the back of that, with the person coming and doing the work, and then the implications, the wider implications. And that ceremony for you, that was brutal by anybody's account. But the minute you made that pledge to the medicine, to chuck it, boom, everything had shifted. But yours was a bit of a journey, wasn't it? Because at that time you were still dealing weed, you were still dealing, was it coke as well?
Dealing weed and coke as well, yeah. Just before I signed up for the next retreat with you, I had a big thing happen in my life. One of my best friends came into my house and robbed something on me, and I was just getting sick of doing what I was doing, but I just didn't know any other way to go about it. So I wasn't feeling as good as I should feel after stopping what I stopped, and I went back for more answers. So that ceremony, she kind of went through everything with me to do it. How selling drugs has affected my life in senses where people around the area stop talking to you because of your actions, or the road you've gone down. Friends you used to talk to stop being around you because of the road you've gone down. My family looking at me different, thinking differently of me because of what I was doing. My sister never respected me, never. You always want to be a brother that they look up to and they go to for safety, but my sister never used that for me because she never felt safe around me. She was constantly put in situations where, like when the police kicked in the door at the time and she was the only one in the house, just constantly put in unsafe situations. So how can a brother keep her safe? My dad didn't respect me doing it, but he seen how much money I was making and he kind of started to understand. Always felt uneasy with me doing it, but he understood me. Every person you meet outside of the drug game, you're lying to on a first interaction. You're telling them, like, if they ask you what your job is, you're not going to tell them what your job is. So very first interaction you're making with anyone outside, it's not a trustworthy interaction.
Yeah, so it's hard to build relationships for there because they're not based on the truth, huh?
Yeah. And yeah, she made me feel what damage it was causing me and showed me everything. And she said to me, look, you keep coming back here, do you want to be happy or not? And of course I wanted to be happy, but like I didn't know what to do. Like, I've did this for the last 12 years of my life. How do I just leave this now because ayahuasca told me and go out into this unknown legit world that I've never worked a day in my life? And I remember speaking to you the next day, and you said to me, and he's always comforted me and he's always given me the best advice on everything. And I said, Claire, I don't know what to do here. Like, I have a girlfriend who requires safety. Like, she's had trauma herself where she's not felt safe because of money. So how am I going to explain to her now I'm going to stop making an income and just go out into a legit world winging it and not knowing what I'm doing? And you said to me, follow what she says will always bring you to the best place. But I was hemming and hawing with the decision, and as time went on, I just said I can't completely give it up now. I'm going to give up the coke. I'm going to continue selling weed. Weed's legal in most countries, and I didn't see too much wrong in it compared to what I do see in the evil energy in coke and the evil energy in heroin and crack.
And I remember having that conversation with you at the end, and it was so difficult because you really had this pull. You were wanting to go straight on the straight and narrow, but like you say, it's given up everything that you knew. And this is how we can see, with the ayahuasca, it very much is a process. At the time when you come to the retreat, you'll get the healing that you need then, and you'll get your homework to do and your integration. You go away and do it. And for you, it's very much been a journey like that. And then I remember before the very last retreat that we did with you just there a couple of months back, when you came to meet us and you says, Claire, 1st of January, that's me. I'm out the game. I'm just chucking everything. And this was about 2 months to go to the end of the year. and we were just praying, that you would get out in time and that there would be no mishaps, nothing happening at the end, that you could then go on to live this new life that you'd planned. But then
Yeah.
didn't pan out like that at all, didn't it not?
No. I was coming home from Miami. I made the decision in August, and I said, right, that's me. I'm done in January. I do not care how much money I make or how much money I don't make. I says that's my final decision. January the 1st, I'm gone. And when I made that decision, things started really going well at work, and I was making a lot of money, and I was saving a lot of money. I was like, whoa, I think because I made this decision now, I'm getting rewarded for it. And then I booked in with you for the November retreat, the first one. And the day before the retreat, I got a phone call to say, basically, I lost all my money. Everything I've had, everything I've saved, everything I've did over like 12 years of work is just gone, just like that, within the space of within the space of a couple of hours. Didn't end up going on that retreat the next day. I cancelled on you. I said, Claire, I can't make it. Something's had to happen back home. Explained to you the situation. You understood. Flew home, flew back over here, and I texted just to see if you had any more spaces for the next retreat. And you didn't know whether you did or not yet. But then by the time you realised you did have a space, my mind was just gone. I felt like I had a lot of shit going on. I had someone over here I was fighting with at the time, and I had a lot of shit situations, a lot of pressure, and a lot of like stress all in that moment. And I remember you texted me, and I wrote out a message to reply to you, and I said, I had the screenshot of what I sent you. I said, no, Claire, I can't make it onto this retreat. I said, my head's just not in a good place at the minute. Didn't send it, left a couple of hours, opened it back up, deleted the whole message, said, yeah, go on, sign me up. Little did I know what I was signing up for.
This was the retreat of all retreats for you, the last one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But definitely, I would say the most pivotal for you. So tell us a bit about that, because obviously when you came to us, you were in an extreme stress due to everything that had happened. So how were your ceremonies in that retreat? How did it pan out for you?
Yeah, this. I'm hoping this is the last time she's ever gonna have to be vicious to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I have did everything this woman said.
Gently from now on out.
Yeah. I made the decision going into that retreat. I said, I don't care what she says to me. I'm giving up in January the 1st. I am not in a position right now to give this up. Genuinely not in a position to give it up. I still had my missus at the time. Went in, and the first ceremony was about my ex-missus, who I was with at the time, who I explained the situation to you about. And it was like I went through the breakup while in the ceremony. It just showed me how I thought me and this girl were together forever, but it just showed me how we were going in separate ways. And when it broke it down to me, and it showed me the way we were treating each other, and it showed me the way we were with each other. No one cheated, but it just showed me the way we were with each other. I knew that wasn't right, and I knew for both of us to be better off, I knew I had to make a decision there after the retreat to end things. And it was tough. It was very tough, like, to go through something like that, because when you go through a breakup, every breakup I went through is like toxic, or like you hate them and you can just block them easily. Like, this was like I had to end it as a friend and stay friends with them, and I have to be there for them. And even though there's nothing too far wrong, there was enough wrong to end the relationship. It was a strange feeling, a strange thing I had to go through with that. And then after that, in the same ceremony, she says to me that my dad hasn't got long left to live if I don't try help him or don't try get him onto an ayahuasca. That, like, and I knew this. I knew the way he was going. Like, he was drinking every day, all day long, gambling, drugs. His heart is in a really bad condition. His weight is in a really bad condition, and I knew that was the way it was going. And I did a lot of healing for him in that retreat. In that ceremony, I could feel it. You know what it was like. I was going through it a lot in them 3 days. Like, I've never experienced anything like it before. And then after the retreat, I ring him, and he's off the drink, he's off the drugs, and he's willing to do an ayahuasca. Crazy.
Amazing. I'm so excited for him. It's going to be so lovely to have you there
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the retreat with him as
yeah,
well.
yeah, yeah. And then the second ceremony was the ceremony of all ceremonies. I've never ever felt anything like this before. Like, I genuinely thought I was dead. Like, I thought I was gonna die 100 times over. It was like, maybe it was ego deaths, maybe it was just loads of tests I was going through. But she was vicious. She said to me, like, "How dare you come to me and ask me for advice and not take it?" She said it's nothing to do with the drug you're selling. You think because you're selling weed that you're like that's okay. It's nothing to do with the drug. It's to do with the energy you're carrying around. It's like, it's to do with this dark energy. Why do you think bad things keep happening to you? I told you this already. You need to get out of the game. Bad things are going to keep happening to you, and if you don't stop doing what you're doing, you're going to end up locked up or in prison, which was the way I was going.
Or
I was
dead.
yeah, locked up or dead. Yeah, and that which was the way I was going. And she said, "Look, here's your ultimatum." She says, "You can stay until January 1st, and I can't guarantee you what's going to happen, or you can get out right now, and I'll show you what your future's going to be like." And yeah, I battled back and forward with it again, and I decided I'm finally giving up. Decided that that's me done. I don't want anything to do with it ever again. I don't want to be around it. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to, like, everything was up for the last couple of months coming up to it. I knew I was getting too soft.
Yeah.
My dad said it to me. He said, like, "This game's not for you anymore, son." He said, like, "You're gone too soft." And when he used to say it to me, it used to annoy me, because I think subconsciously I knew I was getting too soft for this game, and I wasn't doing the right thing. You have to be ruthless in that game. You have to be. And I was getting too much emotions. I was getting too much feelings, and being around friends who are ringing saying they're going to do this and going to do this to families' homes. It was giving me a bad feeling in my stomach that I couldn't hold anymore. I couldn't be around it. I couldn't have anything to do with it. And it was, if anything, when I gave it up, it was more of a relief than anything. It was like the best feeling I've ever had in my life, to just know that pressure's gone off my shoulders. No, I don't have to look over my shoulder anymore. No, I don't have to worry about my future. Every single thing, even if to do with things of having a kid when I'm older. My kid can finally look at me when I'm older and be proud of me.
It was monumental, wasn't it, when you made that decision and again made that pledge to the medicine, because you had all that hanging on to you, and like you say, you were thinking about just for the last little bit, recoup the money, just stay in the game for a bit longer. But I remember you come out that ceremony and you're like, that's it, I'm just walking away from everything. And like Taita was explaining to you, do you know, like, you have been so lucky not to be in the jail or dead. Like, you've got out it, you know, intact essentially. But it's that energy that not only that the drugs carry, but the money carries as well, isn't it? It's that dark energy because of
Everything
where it's
to do
come
with it,
from.
yeah. And I can't really even remember, because you get so much different things going on the one time, so many different downloads going on the one time. But it really explained how that energy sort of works. And when I do think about it, I'm not talking badly about anyone, but I know people with the most money in that game, and I know 95% of people that do it aren't happy. Like, Claire, I never wanted to be a gangster. Never had anything. I never wanted to hurt anyone. That was never my intentions getting into this game. My intentions getting into this game was to make money and make money only. But that doesn't
do that. You need to
have
be a
do things
gangster.
you have to do things you don't want to do. And as I start doing the work with ayahuasca, it wasn't aligning with me anymore, and I'm so proud of myself, and I'm so happy at myself, and to finally get to this decision now, it feels freer than I could have ever felt.
Yeah, and it was amazing to see that within you, just that liberation to you to take that full step into your new life now.
Yeah.
So again, after that retreat, well, it's been massive.
I had one more ceremony after that then too, and this was the best ceremony I ever had. It's like she says to me, "Go ahead, son, you just do you." Even Toita and all say, "Go ahead, son, you just do you." Toita usually tells me to sit back down. I mean, I was bouncing, dancing.
Enjoy yourself.
The younger self came out with everything, was just so happy. It showed me what my potential is in the future and what I'm actually meant for, and that the reason I was never happy was because I had no purpose. I'm waking up every day with no purpose. Every day is the same day to me. Like a Friday is the same as a Monday, and Monday is the same as a Saturday, blah blah blah. It's all the same because I wasn't getting up for anything. Do you know what I mean? And now that I have some purpose, like I feel I can even have goosebumps even saying it now. Now that I have a purpose, I feel so happy. Like I feel genuine. People say I'm mad. I've had so many people back at home saying I'm mad for what I'm going through,
And still, you're happy. Look at
yeah,
what you've
yeah,
been
yeah,
through.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're saying I'm mad for giving up what I'm not giving up and blah blah blah. And I've had so many things said about me, and I genuinely don't care. I don't care about anything. I've finally got to a stage of so much peace with myself that I'm happy now. And whoever wants to be around me, that wants the best of me, can stay around me. But if you're not happy for me, get away from me. Like, do you know what I mean?
That was the definitive retreat, wasn't it? That was
Yeah,
like your kind of ultimate liberation where you fully
yeah, yeah,
at
yeah,
last walked away from the past, and it's just been beautiful because it's just been like a matter of months now, but to
yeah.
see you in your new life now in the straight and narrow. So how's it been? How does it feel?
Yeah, it's of course it's scary, but anything's scary. Anything like that when you take a big jump is scary, and I've no doubt in my mind where I'm going in life. Like I don't mean that in an egotistic way. I genuinely know where I'm going. Money doesn't mean nothing to me, but I know where I'm going. Like I know how much people I'm meant to help. I know, and that's what gets me up every day, and that's what gets me going every day. The feeling of purpose. I said this when I left retreat. It was the 16th. I said I was born on the 16th of November, 2025, the ending day of that retreat.
Your
I just felt
rebirth.
because I felt it. I felt like when I was going to sleep. I said if I wake up tomorrow, I'm the happiest man in the world. I'm alive. I'm
Yeah.
alive now. Like yeah,
Absolutely
yeah,
amazing. I love your story, Brandon. And that's a beautiful thing that we see a lot of us when we come through our traumas and our difficulties in life, like you have now. And it was very much the case for me when I overcame my mental health issues and my addictions. Everything makes sense, doesn't it? Because now I have that complete understanding as to why I had to go through everything that I went through and heal it and transcend it. Because look at the job I do now, is helping and supporting hundreds of people a year to heal. It wouldn't have been possible, had I not took that dark path in life.
yeah,
And it's the exact same as yourself, the virtue of the path that you've taken in your life, the decisions you've made, and then that transcendence, you're now so well placed to be supporting other people.
yeah. And it, I wouldn't even say rootless, but when I say this, I don't mean it in a place of like I don't mean it in any bad way. But my mom dying, I have no regrets. I genuinely feel like that was meant to happen to shape me into the person I am today. Me and my dad's relationship, of me seeing the way he was meant to be, meant to happen to show me of what I don't want in life, and push me in different directions. Going selling drugs was meant to happen for me. Getting stabbed was meant to happen for me. Every single thing, just escape prison was meant to happen for me to push me on towards to do these things. Like
And that's when you're past your trauma, when you can actually see that, you don't have that emotional weight towards it, you can
yeah,
understand
yeah,
like
yeah,
the purpose and the sense in it all.
yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah.
How beautiful.
Amazing, amazing. Thanks very much for everything you did for me. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever been introduced to, and I'll be forever thankful.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure.